Look, if I have to take my hearing aids out so I never have to hear it pronounced Samhain ever again, then so be it. Hello and welcome. So, if you don't already know me, hi, I'm a pagan. I am a weird mix of Wiccan and Celtic influence, being Cornish. This isn't a video about that. This is a video about Samhain, otherwise known as Pagan New Year / Halloween / Samhain. We are not doing that anymore. Each branch of paganism celebrates Samhain slightly differently, so I'm going to try very carefully to talk broadly about it without saying this is how we as all pagans do it. It's harder than it sounds. But first, I really want to start off with the pronunciation, because if I have to take my hearing aids out to never hear it pronounced Samhain ever again, then so be it. So be it. The word is Gaelic, so it comes from what's Celtic language, one of the many. I'm deaf, so me talking about sound just doesn't feel right. But it's pronounced Samhain. Samhain. Not Samhain, not anything else. Samhain. I will accept Samhain, Samhain, Samhain. As long as it doesn't have a hard M in it, we're kind of good. It's Samhain. Generally speaking, Samhain marks the point in the year where the rift, the veil between the living world, this one, and the spirit world, that one, or that one, depending how good you've been, is at its thinnest. And what this means is if you wanted to communicate with spirits or ancestors, Samhain is a very good time to do that. You will get, well, you should get a stronger connection than if you were to do it at any other point in the year. Any sort of communication with that side of the world is much easier. That doesn't mean to say that everybody is going to become necromancers on the 31st of October every year. It's also different if you're in the southern hemisphere. It happens on the 30th of April going over to the 1st of May. And the reason it's different in the southern hemisphere is because it's a marking of the change in seasons, as well as the spiritual veil being thinner. So a lot of practices, a lot of Celtic practices specifically, use it to mark the end of the harvest, in the sense of like, we're now battening down the hatches ready for winter because the earth is now dormant, nothing is growing, we're just surviving in there, rather than the actual, hey, it's a harvest, because that is when the wheel of the year turns from their autumn to their winter. That's why we do it in the northern hemisphere now. While a lot of people think that this holiday, especially for pagans, is to do with rising the dead and all things sort of supernatural and scary, it's really just about connecting with our ancestors and people that we've lost in our lives and just sort of paying respects to that. It doesn't have to be as theatrical as Netflix might have you believe it is. You don't have to go jumping in trying to dive into the spirit world and communicate and try and get clear voices. Maybe your first Samhain practice shouldn't be a Ouija board or anything like that. There are many ways you can celebrate Samhain, and it doesn't have to be a massive ritual where you speak to the other side. You can do little things. I'll give you a list of little things. A good one to do, especially if you want to celebrate Samhain with people who aren't pagan, or with children, or with people from other faiths who might not quite understand, is to just remember your relatives that have passed on, your family that have passed on, your friends that have passed on, anyone in your life that has passed on that you want to remember. That is a really good way to celebrate Samhain, because that's just what it's for. It's for connecting with ancestors, and by remembering them and sharing stories with people about them, you are doing exactly that. Another way you can celebrate the Samhain is something that you probably already associate with the holiday season around now, and that is pumpkin carving. So the legend goes that we carve pumpkins into scary faces to terrify malevolent spirits and keep them out of our house. when in actual fact the tradition is mainly just to guide spirits through so that they don't linger. So the Celtic use of fire is traditionally used to do that, and you know, lighting a little fire or a little candle inside your pumpkin is the way to do that. And I think the scary face thing has just sort of become that face of Samhain or Halloween. And while you do discourage spirits from staying with a scary face, I'm not sure malevolent spirits are actually that scared of a face in a pumpkin. So another way you can celebrate Samhain without getting all your altar out and doing a massive ritual is to just reflect on the past year, maybe make some New Year's resolution type things. A lot of people say that Samhain is pagan New Year, and I don't know how much I agree with that, but it is a very good time for reflection because we are going to be starting new beginnings very soon. We are going to be coming into spring, not very soon, but the next thing after winter, which we're now coming into, is spring, where we celebrate new life and new beginnings. So now is a great time to just sit and reflect on the past year and say, maybe what do you want to do differently? Do you have a habit that you want to drop? I have many habits that I want to pick up again, so for some reason I have stopped bullet journaling and now my life is a mess. Another really simple way that you can celebrate Samhain is to just burn a black or an orange candle. It works best if they are fresh candles, and I'm going to really stress the importance of them being a fresh candle. I might just be superstition, but it is said that burning a fresh black or orange candle sort of symbolises good luck for the next coming year, and by not using a fresh candle, whatever might be attached to that used candle, so say you've used it in a different ritual for something else, it might bring bad luck. And for the sake of a fresh candle, I mean, what's the harm in just getting a fresh candle? You know what I mean? And obviously, please be mindful of fire safety. I don't want you to burn your house down and then blame me because I told you to burn a candle. If you leave offerings to gods and goddesses, now would be a good time to do that, especially if they are a god or a goddess tied to death, dying, rebirth, that sort of thing. You can eat seasonal fruit and veg, fresh baked bread, drink some apple juice or apple cider. In the UK, apple cider tends to be alcoholic, but in the US, not quite. Don't know about anywhere else. But that's a very Samhain-y thing to do. You could burn some incense if that's your thing, you can burn some oils if that's your thing. You can just sit and acknowledge to yourself that yes, today is Samhain, good. You don't actually have to do anything. It doesn't make you less of a pagan or less of a witch if you just sit and acknowledge the season. You can also decorate your house with Halloween-y type things, so you might have noticed my little friend Jinx here, who is precariously balanced on the tail of the ray that has yet to be named. Anything with bones, death symbolism is a great Samhain decoration. This little guy, I know I love cats and apparently this is like the least me thing people expected me to come home with, but this little guy is very cool. His head moves, his little jaw moves, he's very cute and he was £6 in Wilko. And bats are also good symbolism for Samhain. Anything with bones is a good Samhain symbol. Anything that represents death to you is a good Samhain symbol. I personally decorate my Samhain altar with pictures of people that I would like to remember. They're not necessarily blood relatives. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Ancestors aren't just about family by blood and by marriage, they're about people who you've built connections with. Hey buddy. That's my quick little video on what is Samhain and how do you pronounce it. As always, any questions, leave in the comment section below, and while you're there, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a new video. Videos go up every Saturday at 6 PM UK time, with at least one bonus video every single month. See ya! Oh god. Oh, I'm attached.